It's one click. 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody, and welcome back to episode 230 of the Shower Podcast, the podcast where I'm in my shower and you do you. I'm your host, Chip, and what if I told you that photography is the closest thing we have to our brain? Before we start, as usual, if you end up liking this episode, leaving a like and subscribing really mean a lot. They're just one click, but they really make the difference. Thank you very much. Now, before you expect some romantic story about my grandfather giving me an old film camera or me discovering a dusty shoebox of negatives, none of that happened. My story with photography is much simpler, but also, I think, more honest. Photography just happened to me. I didn't have an eureka moment or some movie-like awakening. One day, I just picked up a camera, my phone camera, nothing special, not even mine at first, and started playing around. And that was it. No rules, no classes, no technique. Just me looking through a viewfinder and realizing, wait, I see things differently. This feels right. It wasn't about gear or editing skills. It was about recognizing that the way I frame things, the way I notice details, was my own. And from that moment, I couldn't quite put the camera down. Finally, in 2020, before COVID, I finally committed and bought my first real camera. For the nerds listening to this podcast, it was a Sony a6000, the classic, with a 35mm fixed lens, 1.8 aperture. Closing the parentheses for the nerds. So yeah, nothing fancy. I got it used from a guy in Rome. It was nothing professional per se, but it was still a DSLR, so a proper camera. And for me, it was everything. A few weeks later, I took it on my first trip to New York with the camera. I've already been to New York. And suddenly, everything around me was alive in a new way. The streets weren't just streets anymore. They were stories. People rushing past, neon lights flickering, the texture of buildings against the sky. It all felt like I could finally catch the feeling of a place instead of just passing through it. That trip was the moment where I thought, okay, this is more than a hobby. This is a part of me. Walking through Manhattan with the camera was electrifying. Street photography doesn't let you stay on the sidelines. It pulls you into the rhythm of the city, especially with my fixed lens, where if you want to get closer to something, you actually have to get closer to it. There's no zoom. Every corner felt like an opportunity. The way sunlight hit a yellow cab, a kid running across a crosswalk, steam rising from a manhole. For the first time in my life, I wasn't just in New York. I was really living it. The act of capturing made me notice things I would have otherwise ignored. It was exhausting and exhilarating at the same time. And when I looked back at those shots later, I didn't see photos. I saw how I felt in that exact second. And that's what hooked me. It wasn't just about having pictures to share. It was about realizing that photography could make me feel the present more deeply. It slowed me down in a world that's always racing forward. With the camera in my hand, I didn't need a reason to wonder, to look closer, to wait for something fleeting. And for someone who never thought of themselves as artistic, this was quite shocking. I mean, I drew here and there when I was a kid, and overall, I've always liked creating stuff, but I never considered myself to be an artist. I ended up studying and doing engineering as a job, so yeah, quite different from artistic. But I realized I had a vision, not a perfect one, not a polished one, but mine. And, of course, part of what made it stick was the reaction from people around me. Let's be honest, nobody keeps doing something purely in isolation. At some point, you want to feel like you're good at it. Look at the Shower Podcast. And when I showed those first photos, the praise I got wasn't, wow, your camera is amazing, or your editing is so pro. No, it was simply, I love how you made me see this place. And that hit me hard, Because that's what I wanted. Not to show off technical skill, but to make someone stop, look, and feel what I had felt. And the more I thought about it, the more I realized photography is the closest thing to what our brain already does. Think about it. Your brain doesn't record full movies of your life. Not yet. It doesn't keep every detail. Instead, it takes snapshots, moments. A laugh here, a color there, the way a room smelled. Today, you focused on one subject. Tomorrow, you highlight another. It's selective, it's imperfect. And just like a photograph, it changes with time. One day, you look at the same image and it feels good. Another day, it feels sad. The photo didn't change. You did. That's the tricky part, right? Our brain lies to us. It edits the story. It idolizes some moments. It erases others. Just like a photo can capture the truth of a second, but also be a total illusion. A smile in a picture doesn't tell you all about the fight before. A sunset photo doesn't tell you how cold it was standing there. But the point is, it's still your snapshot. It still happened. And it's up to you to give it meaning. And that's something I love. The power of a single detail to hold an entire memory. Not the whole day, not the whole week, just one angle, one expression, one sound. That single frame becomes the way you remember your whole experience. Think about it. When you remember a trip, it's never the entire trip. It's that one photo in your mind. Maybe a smell, a laugh, maybe the view from a window. That's what stays. And photography taught me to appreciate that power. So when I go back to my own photos, I don't just see streets or faces. I see what I was feeling when I pressed the shutter. I see how I made sense of the chaos in that moment. And that's why I keep loving it. Because it's not just a hobby, it's a mirror. A reminder of how I saw the world on that day, in that place, with that version of myself. And here's where I want to bring you in. Tonight or tomorrow, or whenever you have a second, I want you to try something. Instead of replaying a whole day in your head, ping a single moment, a detail. Maybe it's the sound of your keys dropping on the counter. Maybe it's the way the light came through the blinds. Maybe it's someone's laugh. I don't know. Hold on just to that. See how much it says about your whole story without needing all the filler around it. That's the real power of memory. Because at the end of the day, it's not the quantity of moments that makes life meaningful. It's the quality of the ones we choose to keep. Just like with photography, you can shoot hundreds of pictures, but one frame is what sticks. And in life, you don't need to replay every minute. You need the ones that actually move you. So that's what photography gave me. Not just pictures, but perspective. A way of seeing life through details, moments, honesty, and illusion at the same time. And whether or not you care about cameras, I think that lesson applies to all of us. We don't need to archive everything. We just need to choose the frames that matter. Having said that, that was all for today. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed a small personal memory and fragment of my brain. I don't know if photography will be a big part of my life, let's say from an effort point of view, but I know that it will always be part of me in defining what I am because, yeah, as I just described to you, it just makes sense for me. Thank you all for listening, as I just said. Let me know in the comments if you like photography or you are into photography or, yeah, if you have any interesting story about it. I'm always happy to listen to you. And as always, stay consistent, stay resilient. This was the Shower Podcast and see you tomorrow.